ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शांति शांति शांति. Namaskar my dear friends. This is next video in the Upanishadic Stories series. The name of the story is Balaki the Van. It is the principle of intelligence that is the source of all things. This fact has been emphasized in this short story of Balaki and Ajatasattu. Balaki was a vain and empty-headed young man, and he was taught a lesson by the learned prince Ajatasattu. A young man called Balaki, belonging to the family of Garga, was full of vanity. He thought he knew everything. He was desirous of getting some money, so he went to Prince Ajatasattu. The prince was quite courteous to him. Balaki offered to teach the principal the knowledge of Dharma. For this offer, the prince gave him 1,000 cows and said, "This is but a poor gift. I am not rich enough to give you as generously as Janka does." Balaki was still more puffed up when he was in sight of such a rich gift. He said, "I shall tell you about Dharma, the highest reality." But when he opened up his lips, Ajatasattu could see how shallow he was. Balaki began to tell him that the person in the sun was Dharma, or the highest reality. Ajatasattu refused to accept this statement, saying, "He is at the most the king of all beings, but certainly not the highest reality." Balaki felt browbeaten, but again said, "The person in the moon is the Brahma." The prince again told him that that was not so. In this manner, Balaki went on proposing that the person in the lightning, in the sky, in the wind, etc. was Brahma. Each time the prince put Balaki right by correcting his statement. Thus he rendered Balaki speechless. Finally, Balaki in desperation said, "The person that is in ourselves is the Brahma. One should worship him as such." The prince rejected this teaching also and said, "One who looks upon the person in himself as Brahma becomes self-regarding and nothing more. Therefore, that is not Brahma at all." At this, Balaki collapsed and said in humility, "I know things only so far. Now please teach me yourself the right knowledge. I am anxious to know the truth from you." The prince was a Kshatriya and Balaki a Brahmin by birth. The prince therefore said, "It is rather unusual that a Brahmin should approach a Kshatriya for spiritual knowledge. It is a reverse process, but that does not matter. I shall tell you what I know of it." He then took Balaki by the hand and led him to a man who was in deep sleep. He called upon the sleeping man by his name, "O Somaraja, get up please." But there was no response. Then he patted the sleeping Somaraja by the hand and he awoke. The prince then asked Balaki, "Do you know where this sleeping man had gone during sleep? Who was it that had also slept, and who was active?" Balaki was innocent of all this knowledge. He had no reply to give. The prince then told him it was the intelligence in Somaraja that was sleeping or absent for the time being. His body was living and active, and the vital powers were acting all the while. The intelligence, Vijnana, had withdrawn all his powers of consciousness from the various parts of the body and was taking rest in the empty space or vacuum akasa in the heart. At such a time, all the powers are, as it were, withdrawn from active service and stand suspended. When that intelligence roams about in the dreamland, all these powers of hearing, seeing, etc., are with that intelligence. During dreams, the intelligence assumes different roles. It may be of a king or a Brahmin or a hunter, but all these powers follow him just as the servants of a king follow him when he is out on tour. When the man is in deep sleep, his intelligence is not cognizant of any outside thing nor of any dream. It withdraws at that time all its powers from the 72,000 nerve centers in the body and takes rest in a vacuum in the heart. He sleeps then like a great king or a noted Brahmin or like a young boy free of all care and worry. He is then full of pure joy. When the young man awakes, his intelligence returns and begins its activities as before. This principle of intelligence is really the Brahma, verily like the gossamer web that spins out of a spider's body, or like the sparks that spring and fly from fire. The innumerable things in the world, the vital powers, words, gods, all beings come out of this first principle, which is Brahma or Atma. Humbled Balaki listened with rapt attention to this discourse on Brahma by Ajatasattu and shed all his vanity and conceit. So thus Balaki the vain was taught a great lesson. He said is all his false pride and vanity before Prince Ajatasattu, who taught him the truth of who Dharma is. So I end this video here. Please like, comment and share the video and subscribe the channel. Thanks a lot. Namaskar, my dear friends. Namaskar.